Okay, let's talk about this one, man. This got me pretty hyped up yesterday. But comments coming out about the state of Marvel. And as a fan, a lot of this stuff got me really excited. Now, the ironic thing here is this headline really started to make waves. And it says here, Kevin Feige says you'd have to live under a rock not to know that the last few Marvel movies have failed to ignite the world in the way that so many did. Now, the ironic thing is here, he didn't say that shit. So if you actually read in the interview, it's Sean Levy that actually says that. However, Feige is basically matching that energy. And some of the other stuff that Kevin actually says in this interview gives you an insight into his state of mind. So I want to read this. I want to break it down. I want to explain to you why, as a Marvel fan, just hearing this and just feeling that, like, this is the energy that they're going to start to bring and that underdog mentality, it gets me pretty excited. It's been a rough time. Louis D'Esposito, co-president of Marvel Studios, admit to Empire in the world-exclusive Deadpool and Wolverine issue. However, he sees Wade Wilson's mutant team-up threequel as a sign of things getting back on track. If we just stayed on top, that would have been the worst thing that could have happened to us. We took a little hit. We're coming back strong. That less is more ethos looks set to continue in the years to come. Maybe when you do too much, you dilute yourself a little bit. D'Esposito says, we're not going to do that anymore. We learned our lesson, maybe 2 to 3 films a year and 1 or 2 shows, as opposed to doing 4 films and 4 shows. For Marvel boss Kevin Feige, he's seeing the positive side of the MCU being on the back foot again. After all, back in phase 1, that's exactly where they began. Here's his quote. He says, it's nice to be able to rally behind one feature project this year, he tells Empire. I'm much more comfortable being the underdog. I prefer being able to surprise and exceed expectations. So it does seem like the last year, which has not been ideal, has set us up well for that. Pretty interesting. And then we'll go on to read Sean Levy's comment here because it's kind of interesting as well. With Deadpool professing himself to be Marvel Jesus in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailers, it's clearly time for a resurrection. Some of the lines that Ryan and his writers and Sean worked on have taken on more of a meaning, concedes Feige. For director Sean Levy, he's ready to bring a completely different flavor to the MCU, and it might just be exactly what's needed. You'd have to be living under a rock, not Dwayne, but you'd have to be living under a rock not to know the last few Marvel movies failed to ignite the world in the way that so many did, he said. That's Sean Levy. You see how people confused it with Feige's quote, though? We do come along at an interesting time, and we are decidedly something different. Whether it is of messianic proportions, time will tell. In Deadpool, we trust. Those comments came out yesterday. They kind of went all over the place. I was excited to hear them myself because, again, I'm somebody that really believes in Kevin Feige, believes in Marvel Studios. And at this time, right, when so much is changing, and Deadpool and Wolverine is clearly a movie that they know they have something really good, and it's coming at just the right time. Into last year when they delayed Captain America, because remember, Captain America 4, like, there were a lot of delays happening. There were already things happening at Marvel. Then we had the writer's strike, so it seemed like that just made things even worse. Although, ironically, I think it gives Marvel Studios a little bit more time to, like, kind of take stock of everything. This was around the time when they decided to remake Daredevil and delay Captain America, delay Thunderbolts again. A lot of us thought the writer's strike might make it so the only Marvel movie we saw this year was going to be Captain America, because Captain America had been filming for a long time. It was actually surprising when we found out Deadpool and Wolverine, which at the time we thought was Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, that's going to be the movie in 2024. Everything else was pushed into 2025. I think the reason they did this is after the Marvels, which is one of the biggest bombs in the history of box office. It did like negative $200 and something million. It was a total and complete disaster. Luckily, we've sort of moved past that point where people can't accept that, or they don't believe it, or they want to try to make it not. No, it was one of the worst bombs in the history of Hollywood. Very bad. Quantumania also bad. But after the Marvels, you want to come with something very strong. You know, you want, as far as from a programming perspective, you want to have something big hit, something that a lot of people can get hyped about. Okay, so that's what Deadpool and Wolverine is. The thing that's interesting about this article is it denotes a change in energy. Guys, I watched the interview on the red carpet for the Marvels. I watched Ashley Crossan interview Kevin Feige, and I was disappointed as a fan because Feige felt a little off. It was a little bit of an awkward thing. He just wanted to kind of put the focus on the movie. It's weird because the movie's horse shit, and maybe you should have talked about some other hyped up things. It's also the interview where he admits he's no longer doing his Star Wars movie. So as a fan, right, like I'm watching my guy, my GOAT, interview, and it's like a little sloppy. It's, you know, it's kind of like maybe how Drake fans are feeling right fucking now, right? I was just not about that energy. And I was a little bit concerned that the public perception and maybe the boilerplate of Marvel Studios was going to just be like, oh, well, we have a, you know, this, and now it's really awesome, and not admit what's wrong. And this feels like the first time I've personally seen on a big public stage, Esposito, Feige, and Sean Levy admitting that things were bad. They were on top. Now they're on the back foot. Now they're the underdog. And that's a place and a space that they feel comfortable in. As a fan, to go from the energy I saw in the Captain Marvel red carpet interview to this, oh my God. I'm feeling much better. Now, the ironic thing, too, is he doesn't even say this. This is a Sean Levy quote, but it went all over the internet. And I would just want to say to Kevin directly, you have been handed beautiful little miracle, okay? The whole internet just misquoted you, and people liked it. The whole internet just misquoted you, and they were praising you. So what that means is you got to see what will work. You can now approach San Diego Comic-Con and all of the rest of the interviews and promotion that you do, and you now know what will resonate with the fans. If you just hold the L, tell us that you're back to business and you feel comfortable as the underdog and you're about to blow people away, that's gonna resonate, okay? And I love the fact that they're admitting some of the jokes that Reynolds is talking about are gonna hit even harder. That implies he's making fun of Phase 4. Making fun of Phase 4, which we will all laugh at. It's better to laugh than cry. So that shit's hype. I love the attitude. I love the energy. I hope they take from this interview and just go with it. I think at San Diego Comic-Con, I want to hear this kind of energy, which is a little bit of like, yeah, things haven't been going great, but now we're super motivated to get back to that place where we're setting the world on fire again. I mean, Marvel is so big. Marvel has earned this kind of crazy, unique spot where the Sean Levy quote is talking about how you'd have to live under a rock to know that Marvel hasn't been lighting it up lately. That's true, but they've earned such a place in pop culture that they're still the most talked about thing. I mean, that's the point he's making. Like, don't miss it. Don't get it twisted. He's saying everybody knows what's going on with Marvel lately because they're still fucking Marvel. And even though things have not been good, they're still the most talked about, the biggest. They earned that. And I think that's true. So for me as a fan who really does feel like some good changes are happening behind the scenes, I don't think every single thing's going to be exactly catered to my sensibilities as a fan. That's okay. I'm talking about the Fantastic Four movie. Still don't fucking know about that shit. But the point is, if the overall direction is better and we're getting much higher quality and just more fun, that's very good. That's a very good direction for Marvel Studios. And I think it's something that could truly carry just a lot of water for the brand because I think it resonates with fans. So this, even though it's just a couple of comments here and there, I feel really good about this. By the way, again, I'm going to have to do that thing again. Compare this to Star Wars, okay? And we're not going to dwell on it, okay? You know what I'm saying. Think about this energy here with them coming out and saying this. These are the biggest people at Marvel right now on the biggest platform for the biggest movie, and they're saying this. And then think about the people at Lucasfilm and think about what they are saying about the current state of Star Wars, okay? And we'll leave it there. There's a reason why I generally think Marvel has a chance to turn this around, and I have faith. And when it comes to Star Wars, let's just not talk about it.